Good evening, everyone. Welcome to yet another very interesting webinar on PhD in Engineering France. My name is Meenakshi Singh, and I'm the Scientific Coordinator at the French Embassy in India. And with me, I have Mr. Rachit Dhawan, Campus France Manager in Delhi, who will be co-moderating this webinar along with me again. In India, many science students always aspire to be an engineer someday. And why not? India is one of the largest producers of engineers in the world. In India, there are numerous engineering colleges like IITs, NITs imparting undergraduate and graduate courses in engineering, applied engineering, and sciences. But with this large number of engineers, Indian engineers also face challenges in finding suitable opportunities in higher education afterwards. So today in our panel discussion, we will be talking about the different opportunities available for doing a PhD in engineering science in France, and to provide information to all the prospective students who wish to carry their PhD in this field in France. So let's get started with the panel introduction first. So our first panelist for today is Professor Mazia Aziz, who is a professor and also international director and relation director at École Nationale Supérieure de Chimie et de Physique de Bordeaux. Our second panelist is Mr. Akash Patil, doing his PhD in computational sciences from France. I will take a few moments from each of these panelists to briefly introduce themselves and tell us a bit about their background. So let's begin with Professor Mazzi first.
Hi, everybody. And my name is Majdi Azayas. As said in the introduction, I am professor at Polytechnical Institute of Bordeaux. It's a part of, it's an institute like one of the IIT in India. So we can see that we have some first common way for training, because in France, you know, we have what we call the classic university, and in parallel with universities, you can find some polytechnic institute, and these cluster of engineering school are here to deliver diploma of engineering. And the common point is that some of our students, once they finish their school at our engineering school, they are looking for PhD experience and to improve their way to realize research, and also maybe to look for a job in the university or in research centers. And I am in Bordeaux, and that's why I will focus my description on our local experience, but be sure that it is not exceptional. I mean, once you understand what's happened in Bordeaux, you can imagine that it's almost the same everywhere in the cities in France. Nevertheless, my first talk will concern one network, what we call SPI. SPI, it is Science for Physics and Engineering. And we have a huge network, and this can be the first door that you can open to see what's happened, what are the opportunities, what are the subjects that we can put online. So it's really good way to start connection if you want to apply for thesis in France. And we have many positive and many good advantages with this network. Nevertheless, we have one inconvenience, one negative point. The negative point comes from the fact that for the moment, it's only in French. And we are really working on the English version, and I hope it will come soon. Nevertheless, if you try to make for some traduction, you can succeed to connect. I will give you some presentation of this, and I will be, of course, here if after you need some information, you can write me an email directly. So if you are okay, and if it's explained it, I can start with the introduction of this network. And after we can move to our local Bordeaux experience and to describe how to start, how to live in Bordeaux, how it costs to be in the university in Bordeaux, and why we should choose Bordeaux. And okay, and also answer to some question. Can I
Okay,
start with the internet
thank you,
network?
Professor Mazi. We just finished with the introduction of Akash and Rachit,
Of
and then
course.
we will start with our
Thank you.
session.
Thank you.
Yeah, Akash, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure to be here, and I'm really thankful to the Campus France as well as French Embassy in India for inviting me to be a panelist for this discussion. I'm Akash Patil. I did my bachelor's in India in mechanical engineering from the University of Pune. After that, I came to France to study a very specialized master's in fluid dynamics and turbulence. I graduated from my master last year, and since then I have continued my education towards a PhD. I'm doing my PhD at Mainz Paris Tech, which French people popularly call as Mine de Paris, uh, and I'm affiliated with the CNRS joint mixed laboratory called CEMAF, which is located in Sofia Antipolis. We are doing very exciting work here. We are working on the intersection of turbulent flows as well as deep learning, which is a very exciting domain, and lots of people are trying to explore this new area. Uh, Today in this panel, in this discussion, I'll try my best to answer the questions which will come up, mostly related to how I applied for this PhD, what are the constraints of obtaining a PhD position, how it is different from a PhD in India, and other such aspects. Thank you.
That's great, Akash. Rachit, I would also like you to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, Meenakshi. I'll be very quick because I think we should start with the session. But I'm Rachit Dhawan. I'm the manager at Campus France in New Delhi. And as you know, Campus France is the education service at the Embassy of France in India. It is your doorstep for higher education in France. For anyone wanting to know about how to start with their first step about finding a program or a university in France, the Campus France office here is your first step for the purpose. We have about 13 offices in the country, and they're deployed in different cities across the country. And Campus France is available very much throughout the lockdown and in confinement as well. So don't hesitate to reach out to one of the managers across. So if you have questions, we'll take it later on as well, and we can start with the session and with the professor.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, Rachit. Thank you all for the introduction. Let's take this session forward. And my first question is Professor Mazi, as he already said that he will be going to introduce Bordeaux, which will definitely going to represent all France. So my first question is to Professor Mazi is that why Indian students should choose France as their first destination for their studies in the field of engineering sciences?
Okay. Let me first give one argument, and we have many arguments. And let me start with, let's say, France has a very, very interesting culture and science, and even if you are interested to go with science, if you are interested to go in classic culture, I think France can offer the best environment to this. They can offer the possibility to enjoy both your study, your training, and both to enjoy the quality of the life. In France, we have this culture of something very special in science, which is engineering science. We, at least in my section, SPI, Science for Physics and Engineering, we used to work with industry. So when you come and you start your PhD and you go with this sector, with this part of science, often you are close to the reality, you are close to the expectation of the industry, you are also close to the expectation of the academy. So we have this double culture to help you to make research, make development, R&D, and you are open to the industry, and in the same time, you are open to the academic science. In the both time, we used to say that we are here to help you to be a good researcher and a super technique. You are able to manage, you are able to solve an applicated problem, but in the same time, we help you to have a big background in science. And this is one thing that we learn to do in France, and something that it exists since a long, long time. So in the same time, you are able to develop theory, and at the same time, you are aware about the application. And the application is now more than ever close to the expectation of the industry. So that's, I mean, the part of the word engineering is very, very important. Another part also in our argument, I mean, you know that in France, if you apply for PhD and if you start your PhD, you have to finish your PhD in 3 years. Not 4, not 5, 3 years. In 3 years, you succeed to get your degree of PhD, and it is one of the shortest period through Europe. And if you go to Germany, if you go to Italy, if you go to Spain, that can be 4, 5 years. In France, let's say it's even forbidden to add 1 day. So if young people come to France and they work hard, and they are, as every time when we are lucky to receive Indian students, we are really happy because they are serious and they work hard. And 3 years after, they are doctor in science. And this is not, this is one point that can be taken into account. And the other part, I will show you later that our system of doctoral school makes that every doctoral school is connected with a selected institute of research. I mean, of course, as soon as you start your PhD experience, you are in the heart of the research. You will be in the laboratory. You will start to discuss with researcher, and you are young research. You are young research. This is some arguments that I can.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Mazdi. This brings me to our next question: that what are the best research institutions or networks in France for doing a PhD in engineering, and what is the best way for Indian students to find and approach these institutions?
Okay, this is not easy to answer, but I would say that my university is the best. But now, to be serious, let me tell you that if you look for the map in France, I mean, one way to be honest to answer your question is it depends on your specialty. It depends. Let me, for example, focus on mechanical engineering. Okay, and if you want to apply and you see your project yourself, you see that you want to make applied mechanic for aeronautic, don't come to Bordeaux. You should go to Poitiers, you should go to Toulouse. If you want to be one of the best in turbulence, you should go to Grenoble, you should go to Paris. So, I mean, the starting point, that's why the connection with the REDOC I'm going to present later, it's fundamental. You should start from what you want to make as area of engineering and mechanic and so on. And from this, you can see the road map. So you can see the road that will take you to the best the best university and the best. For example, in Bordeaux, we are very well. We have very well positioned in material science. I mean, material for thermal storage energy, material for composite. All this, I think you are welcome to come here, and many other examples that I'm forgetting to speak about. So let me answer that. You should visit this map. You should this internet connection, and you go to the lab and you go to the application. And of course, the best way is to help you students to go to see where are the announcement of the PhD proposal. This is fundamental. We should work together to say, okay, first thing you have to click here, and you will see if I am from mechanical engineering and I feel myself dedicated to aeronautic, I should click here, and I will get 3 or 2 places in France that offer the best training and the best chance to finish as a good researcher. This is my answer to your question. I hope I'm clear.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. It is really good to know how well the network is organized in France, and I'm sure the information shared by you will really help the candidates to decide their preferred institutes. As you were talking about Redoc SPI, can you just explain a bit about Redoc SPI and how it works for engineering?
Okay, Redoc SPI. If you can I share my screen?
Yes.
5 minutes, no,
Yes,
not more. I think first of all, Redoc SPI is first. It is Redoc SPI is first a website. Okay, it is an internet network. I mean, it is only a network. I mean, you have this. I will send you the email. Sorry, the link. And behind this, we have the cluster of all the doctoral schools. As you can see in this website, this virtual internet connection, behind we have 30 SPI doctoral schools, and they are distributed around all France. And if you see, we are about 2,000 PhD by year, and all are connected and all are recognized by this network. I mean, the missions of this cluster, this internet connection is described here. And one of the points that is very important for you is to answer to some fundamental question. For example, you want to know how you want to come to France, or at least the first question. I want to see and want to learn about what is the best offer of thesis. All the offers of thesis are in the website behind this network. I mean, you have this part. I mean, I can click here, and when you click here, we have still in French, but you are offer of thesis. If you click here, you have the thesis. For example, here it's written in French, but if you are interested in electric cars and hybrid cars, connected cars, autonomous cars, this is what you call a part of our activity. This is, you can click, and behind this you have the offer of thesis. You have this, but not only this. We have also all the theses that were defended in 2018, 2000, and so on. And all these people are also present in LinkedIn SPI. If you click on this, we are connected with this group, and we have very huge group with 2,700 participants. And this participant majority are student, doctor, and industrial. So this is very important way to be connected with us and connected between you. And if you go and click about your thesis, this is another part of the set, and you have thesis in preparation, person, and all the information in real time about what we can offer in thesis. As I said before, now it's in French, but really we are working on it to be in English. So guys from India and other countries can be able to take advantage and to really appreciate this. So we are connected about 1,000 companies. These companies offer grants for the student. So many companies, they have fundamental subject research. So they share this research with the universities, and they pay the student for his thesis. And we, as you can see, we have many international programs. By year, we have about 200 co-guided theses. And once again, you can see this in the website of Redoc SPI. Please keep in mind two information. One, Redoc SPI is a cluster, is a network, and it is virtual because it works with one website. Of course, behind this, we have persons, we have professor, they are sharing, they are playing, they are animating this. But the first to keep in mind, it is a website and helpful for you to be aware about the offers, about the grants, about the, as soon, for example, in Bordeaux, I'm going to animate a workshop or summer school. You can go on the website, and in the real time, you will be informed about this existence. And you can find all students from India who are in France working in a PhD in this specialty science for physics and engineering. All this are together. And you can go to this link, and you can flyer, stand, and website. this is also found my thesis. This is, I hope it works because no, the connection is down. But this one is in French, trouver ma thèse. It is found my thesis. About 1,000 offers published on the internet laboratories, and they are connected to the website. And you have he's also about what is a doctor in France, and you can connect about how to be doctor, the condition, 3 years, and what kind of training you should follow. All this are on this website. I really, really encourage you, push you to visit, and this can help you. Even if it's in French, you can found with some keywords how to found your route on it. This is my global, and sorry, because rapid presentation of Redoc SPI, but the best is to visit the website, even in French.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you so much, Professor. It was really great to learn about this well-structured network and how well it is connected with the universities and industries. And so now I would like to also ask you another very quick question, that if you could please also highlight what are some main areas of excellence in France in this field, in the field of engineering.
Sorry. I don't.
If you could please highlight some main areas of excellence in the field of engineering in France.
You mean some specialty of excellence?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, let's speak about one subject which is my specialty, is mechanical engineering. I mean, material science, aeronautic, and turbulence. All these are really, hydrodynamics. I said before, material science. This is from the part of mechanical engineering, but this is not only this. I mean, if you allow me to present, for example, in our case in Bordeaux, I mean, you have with SPI, you have this specialty. For example, in our city, we have in the same doctoral school, electronics, automatization, mechanics, and physics. And we have some specialties, for example, material science, laser, astrophysics, plasma, mechanic, electronic, automatism, image, and signal. All these are in the same doctoral school. And if you want to see the repartition, you can see here the repartition of the student, and here we have the lab behind. So this is, I mean, in Bordeaux, if I can answer this in Bordeaux, I would say this is the specialty: mechanic, electronic, automatic, laser, and material nanoscience. And with discipline, with this is specialty, but the discipline behind this is physics, mechanic, and electronic. And I can...
Yes, I continue. You would like to add something, Professor?
Yeah. Can I continue with the presentation of our doctoral school, or you prefer later?
We can continue with the presentation, but now I would like to request Rachit to take this session forward for further discussion with Professor Nandi and Akash, and he can talk about different courses offered at University of Bordeaux in engineering.
Absolutely. Let's follow. Yeah, good.
Yes. Thank you so much, Meenakshi. It was very excellent. We really heard a very good side. And thank you so much, Professor, for really telling us about the various institutions, networks, and why should really students choose France if they're really considering a PhD in engineering. But what perhaps you could tell us from your own perspective about the various PhD, the doctorate programs, and the various master programs that you have on offer at the university? Professor?
Yes. You want exactly?
Yes, sorry. I'll repeat my question. Could you tell us about the various different programs that are on offer at your university at the master's and the doctorate level?
Okay. Let me, in this case, the best is to
do you have your presentation? If you'd like to use it, you can.
I have a presentation regard to SPI. And
we can show, yes, and we can talk about programs. Yes, absolutely.
We have, I mean, in this, we have, as you can see, this is the structure of organized for PhD. I know we have this items to support and to follow. Nevertheless, the students who are in PhD, they have to go to one of this laboratory, and this is laser and material. This is mechanical engineering, and this is the list. I'm not going to read it, but as I said before, we have specialty of electronic, mechanic, automatics, and this is the repartition of our student. You can see that we have every 1 year we have about 48 students in mechanic, 78 in electronic. We have image and electronic, and we have laser and material nanoscience and plasma. And this is the repartition by year. And if you, this is the definition of our council of the doctoral school. So it is constituted by professor, by student, and by administrative. And this is it's not very important. Okay, when we receive student, the goal is the following, is to be ability to analyze scientific question, ability to set up experiment. This is, let's say, our role to help him to be aware about this and to be specialist. And we also ask him to participate, and every year they have to be present in a national, international meeting. We have one-day meeting between all the students. We call this Journée de l'école doctorale. I mean, we put all the PhD students together. They are free to connect, to discuss, and to exchange their result, and they share dinner after. So this is, I mean, the rights. What we expect that every student return one report by year, and every student has to follow one interview. He has to discuss with some very small jury, but they have to describe the evolution of their work, and we have to identify if any problem can happen with their supervisor, and if any problem, we help them to solve. And this has to be done 3 times, once by year. And something very important to our future student, I hope, that in France, I guess in India as well, every PhD student has to follow up and to validate something equivalent of 100 hours of training course.
Yes.
And these courses are organized by the École Doctorale. It's organized by the School of Doctoral itself. This is supposed to be other courses different of their daily research life. And of course, once you validate the equivalent of this 100, once you validate and you continue research, we have to meet minimum criteria for PhD defense. And the minimum criteria is clearly one published paper in a real well-known journal. This is fundamental. If you don't have this, if no publication, it's very, very complicated to have the agreement to defend our thesis. I mean, one thesis is minimum of one paper, of course, in journal organized by Scopus and World of Science, and it's very, very important. Better to be Q1, Q2 minimum.
Yes.
And maybe I can say or give some statistic that we try to respect. The statistic after 3 years where our students succeed to have job. I mean, we have 31% of these PhD doctors trying to go to what we call public job, private job, 2% postdoctoral. Some people, becomes owner of our business. Some people, 1%, they are working association. 1%, they look for job in the international, outside France. We have 4% without job, at least 1 year after their thesis. And for example, here we have about 20% without no answer. We do this study just the year after the degree. I mean, 1 year after the degree, we try to collect all the information. I mean, 2 years after the degree, things change. But just 1 year after the degree, we have this information. So it's very interesting that we respect that you are in science for physics and engineering, since we have something that 40%, they return to the industry and they are working in research and development. This is, the description of the information concerning our PhD. I also would like to say that if you come to Bordeaux, for example, and I'm sure that it is the same thing in the other cities and the other university, we have facilities. The facilities is we have one office that take in charge all this. They take in charge all this. They help you to find a flat. They help you to understand the system of the health security and how to get your document. And this is a part of University of Bordeaux. We have an identified office. They speak English perfectly, and they follow you till the moment you becomes autonomous and you becomes member of Bordeaux City and Bordeaux University. When you apply for a thesis, you need a salary, and the salary comes from different possibilities. If your thesis is what we call university thesis, in the sense that it is paid by the university, we have salary from the university, and the salary is about 1,300 euro by month, and it is enough. It is enough because as soon as you have this kind of agreement, if you are paid by the university, in the same time you have many other advantages. For example, you can be in the room of the campus, which very nice room, and you with own kitchen, your bathroom, and you pay not a lot. You have to pay something like 200 euro by month. So the salary is not important, but the advantage, you can take advantage of many facilities offered by the crews. With the system, charge the student for their flat, for their security and everything. If you go with another system of thesis, means that you want to follow thesis and the money comes from the industry, of course the salary becomes more important. The salary is about, let's say, 1,900, 2,000. It can be even 2,200 euro by month. And in this case, of course, you need to look for your own flat. It means that you go around the city and to look for an apartment, and we can help you. We have many systems to give you the offers. We make direct connection with the owner. We know how to do this. We have really big office in charge of this.
Are you connected with crews as well on that note, just to add?
Absolutely. This is it's more than fundamental to
it's mandatory. I also want to ask at this opportunity, with the sanitary crisis in place, a lot of students are wondering, if they do come to France this year, and if they do decide to join in for courses, how is your university prepared to welcome international students?
You mean due to the COVID-19 situation?
Yes, due to the COVID-19 crisis.
This is very good question. We are absolutely in this question. Okay, so, we are aware that one question is to hire the student, okay? Imagine that now you are interested in the thesis that I'm going to, that I propose. So, and I'm going to read your CV. So there is one part which is classic. And after we can make the interview by Zoom or any internet connection. And once I decide that you are the person that I want to share 3 years of work, one part of your, if you want to decide to start in 1st September, from 1st September to the period of your presence in Bordeaux, you will start your thesis in India, and you sign the contract to the 1st September. And from 1st September, let's say, I hope to January or February, you get your salary, and we work respecting distance. Okay? We wait for the end of this the situation to allow you to come to France. This is one solution that I can discuss with you. The other solution is that you prove that you are safe, and we have to respect some, at least we are doing this with some countries, not India for the moment, but some countries in Europe. So we prove that just few days before coming that you are safe. And once you come here, we follow you to see that you are really safe, and you become one member of if you are like any French citizen. So two possibilities: the possibility that the first 6 months, let's say, you stay at home and you work thanks to the connection, you get your salary, you are like someone who is in France, and we suppose that we hope at least in 6 months this thing will disappear and we can receive. This is one algorithm. The other algorithm that we decide that you come and we put all the control to be sure that you are safe. And you come and once you are here, you are treated like any PhD student. I mean, if the other PhD students are in the lab, you will come. If the other PhD student has to be in their room, in their flat, you stay and you will work like the others. I don't know if I answered your question or not.
No, that was very good, because we are in this together, and it is really about the purpose of higher education, and for someone not to really defer their project or their academic thesis, whatever they have in mind, to continue that note.
This is the strategy we are discussing in the university, in our university. But let me tell you, and this is not a secret, that we also need to work with the decision of the embassy. I mean, the embassy has to respect the rule that will be given by the French government. So if I decide that you come tomorrow, you need the visa. And the university up to date has no information about the strategy, but the strategies will not only dedicated to India or to China or to US. I mean, it's a global strategy that we are following. But for the moment, and this concerns not only PhD student, but also master, our young student who want to come to make bachelor or make license or master. We are on the same side. We are preparing to these guys that we are going to accept in our universities the opportunity to first work at house, hoping that in 6 months they can move and they are present. But we are preparing all the courses in distance, thanks to the web connection, and so we are completely in. So PhD will follow this program as well. I mean, for our students who are in contact with us now, they are listening, I hope, I think they have to find the good way to find the contact. To be, okay, I am interested, I am in contact with the subject, I want this subject. And from this, they have to write to the supervisor, CV, and they know the algorithm. And once they do this, I think it is not very, very complicated to make the jump and to accept these young people to come and join us.
No, that is a very good advice for sure. And I think for a lot of students, this is something that gives them immense comfort during this time, because it's really a time of uncertainty for many people. And we're all trying to, really hold on to hope and continue with our projects and shift to an online mode.
Maybe if you accept, I would like to answer another question. That
yes, please.
I'm answering a question in disorder. I'm not respecting orders. So
no, of
this
course
is not a question. You know that recently France decided to make different fees for foreign people and extra community. I mean, someone coming from France for thesis, coming from Europe for thesis, or come from China or India or US, the fees are different. And let me tell you that in Bordeaux, up to now, we refused this. So it means that we consider that at least for the PhD program, the student, they will pay the same thing than the other, since they will get the same grant. So they have to pay.
Yeah.
The grant, for example, in France, it is about, I don't know, maybe I don't want to say mistake, but let's say maybe 400 or 500 euro by year.
500 euro.
Including the security, health, and the minimum of So,
No, but that's a very excellent, because this is a very motivating factor for many students.
Absolutely. I mean, we are trying to separating students coming to follow all their study in the university, which costs money. So maybe we can understand or not. This is a political question. But I verified this question this morning, and till this morning, there's no change in the program. Our future PhD students, they can come from anywhere in the world. They are treated from this point exactly come their like their colleague who are French citizen or European citizen. So this should be clear. And maybe it can be confirmed by our student.
Yes, of course. And it's also very interesting because for most Indian students, they're very well aware about this fact that the French government does spend a lot of money in education, and a big percentage of the GDP is taken out education.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I think this is a good point to bring Akash into the conversation. And Akash, introduce yourself, tell a bit about the different programs you have done, your experience in France so far, and any particular insights to Indian students who are also planning to go to France or do a program.
Definitely. First of all, I'd like to add to what Professor Majdi said. For searching PhD positions, for me, at least the rule was, or at least the people whom I know who are doing PhD, all of the people followed the people of their interest. For example, if I like Professor Majdi's work, I know about his work since last few years, for example. Then I'll try to contact Professor Majdi and say, okay, do you have a PhD position in your group? Do you have a PhD position in your laboratory? So by that virtue, I get a chance to work with him and in his group. So first of all, just like what he said, we students have to figure out their interests and try to say, okay, if I want to work in fluid dynamics, then who are the best people in France? Who are the best laboratories and the most cited researchers in France, if they have any PhD positions? And apart from that, the doctoral school websites also post advertisement about PhD positions. So generally around February, March, these months, advertisements are displayed, and based on that, students have to apply and follow the procedure. There are also CNRS and INRIA, some specialized recruitment website for CNRS, INRIA, and other like CEA organizations. Students can also find it there. Regarding my experience in France, I learned a lot. This was the best experience in previous 2 years of my master's. I studied at École Centrale de Lille for my first year, and my third semester was in Poitiers. It was in ENSMA in Poitiers, and I also had few electives in NCIP in Poitiers. Overall, the duration of all the three semesters of masters were very exciting. It was the best education I have ever received, and best type of training which prepared me for doing a PhD and motivated me for going into the same field of interest. Also followed, like, the last semester of my masters was dedicated purely to a master's thesis, a 6 months thesis, which can be done in a research laboratory affiliated to university, or a private laboratory, or a private organization in France or outside France. So it's just based on where students want to work, to explore, to continue their research. So I had an opportunity of working in Toulouse for almost 6 months on the same area of interest of my PhD. And overall, my experience was really good. So basically, if you find laboratories, and if you find people, and if you find the problems that interest you for doing a PhD, I would highly recommend to do it in France. Also, one more thing, that while I studied in France, the French attitude of using a mathematical approach towards learning and towards solving engineering problems really impressed me. Which is not a case in at least not what I had experienced in India before, and it was very unique, and that really inspired me to continue my education in France for a PhD. And just like Professor Majdi said, the PhDs in France are fully funded, so students don't have to worry about the economic aspect. The fees which he mentioned, yes, he's totally correct, around 400 euros, but 400 euros per year, and that is very less compared to what the PhDs are paid for as their monthly and annual remuneration. So to give a general estimate, it values between 18,000 euros to 30,000 euros per annum for PhD, the funding in this case, which is more than sufficient for a student and more than sufficient to have a normal life in France. Apart from learning experience, you also have cultural experience, which was very, very nice. I spent almost 13 months of my master's in Lille, which is in the north of France, which is a very beautiful city.
Very student-friendly city.
Yes, student-friendly city, in fact. Then I spent 4 or 5 months, almost one semester in Poitiers, which is very near to Bordeaux.
Yes.
And it's quite beautiful. A
Yes.
small town, but quite beautiful. And then I spent my master's thesis period in Toulouse, which is a aerospace hub, Airbus situated there, and also lots of companies which are third-party contractors for Airbus work there. So you get an opportunity to actually experience research in the domain of your interest and contribute to this area. And now, though I'm registered in École des Mines in Paris, I'm affiliated to a CNRS laboratory in Sophia Antipolis, which is to the south of France in the Mediterranean. So we have very beautiful weather here, and all in all, I'm enjoying the learning part as well as the cultural aspect. And to add one more thing about the people I have worked with, I got a chance to work with the best of the best people in my field, the highly cited people in my field who are well known for their research, and I'm lucky enough to work with those similar and really great minds for my PhD. My supervisor here they not only support me in my PhD training, which is thinking critically, writing work, and completing the courses. It again varies based on university, what kind of structure you have. So the number of PhD students admitted, as well as the program structure, as well as the major structure and everything. But overall, supervisors, not only my supervisors, but also from my friends who are doing PhD in different universities, I generally hear that supervisors, just like my supervisors, the people are quite friendly, and they help you apart from your academic and training life. They also help you in personal lives. For example, if I want to explore entrepreneurship, if I can do that in France, if I want to go to some, say, just have normal, say, help with accommodation or help you, say, filing some forms, taxes or something, that is a great cultural experience also. So, yeah.
Thank you, Akash. Thank you so much for sharing your wonderful experience in France. Thank you, Rachit. Before we wrap up, I have one last question to Professor Malti. As Professor Malti, you have already highlighted some statistic about opportunity of what actually students are doing after PhD defense. Some of them are in private sector. Some of them have permanent academic position or postdoc position. So I just want to quickly, if you could just tell us that what are the different career opportunities are available for students in this field in France?
Okay, I mean, for example, future Indian students, if they come to France.
Yes.
Okay. What is sure that in the statistic I presented before, all the possibility are offered to any person. I mean, you can be a member of CNRS, even if you are still Indian citizen. I mean, you don't need to be French citizen to be researcher and to integrate this very, very important center of research. This is one of the prestigious center. And I think that France is one of the rare country that offer the possibility to any foreign person to be member of this center of research. You can also be professor at university or assistant. You have to start as assistant professor. The position they are offered and they are open to anyone with, I mean, PhD. We don't need to be French citizen. This is very exceptional. And myself, when I was hired in this University of Toulouse, I started in Toulouse. At that time, I was Tunisian. I'm still Tunisian, but I was not French citizen. And it was a big lack. I mean, this is one way to encourage young people from all the countries of the world to come to France and to make their chance and to integrate this prestigious university and center of research. And even if you want to enter to any industrial company and to apply for research and development job, it is also open. I don't have statistic. We put the statistic all together. Inside the 10% and 40%, we did not associate people who are French or not French. It's a global statistic. But I'm sure that the luck, the probability, the chance to find a job, they are the same for everyone. The only thing that you know very well is the excellence. If you are a good researcher, if you learn rapidly, if you know how to integrate problems, you have your chance to get the position, and you have your chance. The probability is almost the same than any other colleagues on French or not French citizen. This is fundamental, and this is for me very positive for the young that we are hosting, and we want to. I would like to, if possible, to add something. I mean, the young Indian student have very, very good reputation in France. I mean, in France, I think some colleagues will fight to have good students from India. And when we discuss with my colleagues, I said, okay, I dream to have students from India or from China, the two, because it comes from the education, from the selection. And but of course, we are lucky with the Indian student because they speak English. They write English, and so the communication is immediate. Because along the corridor of the laboratory, we speak English. Maybe it's not the case in the university when you come to follow master, but in the labs, every people speak English. More or less good, but I mean, we speak English. This is our fundamental language. So when we receive young students from India, we win a lot of months, because immediately we can go to the blackboard and to the lab and we start make research. And they are known for their series. They are known for their quality, human quality, and they are known for their knowledge because they come with a good background. So I think we have something ready to make the connection. What has to be done is to offer to our young students from India the best and rapid way to connect to the offers. We need to optimize this part. I mean, anyone has to connect in real time and to say, okay, in Lille, we have this. In Toulouse, we have this. And this has to be done via, at least for my specialty with science for engineering and physics, it should be done by I mean, the internet connection with the creating website, English website, and to update it. We can offer also to our young students from India to be member of this, to put their CV. So we can ourselves also go and pick up some proposal. We can create the need, and we can create the offer, and we want to have the answer rapidly. And this has to be done for the moment.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Mazdi. This was really excellent, and thank you for sharing some.
Thank you for giving me.
And that is why France is indeed an excellent choice for higher studies and remains one of the most, affordable destination among Indian students, and that's why Indian students choose to go to France. And now I would like to thank you once again to all of you for your time and support. And through this webinar, we hope to reach all the aspiring scholars from India who wish to study and follow their dreams in France. Any last word or message for Indian students amid ongoing crisis before we sign off, Professor Mazdi, if you have any message?
Okay, my message that come and to France and take your time to choose the subject and take the time to find the good and the right laboratory. And among all this, you can come to Bordeaux. And why you should come to Bordeaux? Because we are here. I don't know if you see the picture. You are here. Bordeaux is here.
Professor, could you share your screen? Maybe we can see it. We can't. Maybe if you can share the screen again.
Yeah, let me do it. Sorry.
Yeah, it'll be great to see the picture. So I think.
Let me. I have to share again. Okay. Okay. Do you see?
Yes.
We are here. So Paris is here, and we are 2 hours from Paris with the high-speed train, and Poitiers is somewhere here, and we are on the ocean, and this is the region. All this region is we call the region of Aquitaine, and we are close to Toulouse, we are close to Montaigne, we are close to Ocean, we are close to Paris, and this is our campus. Okay, this is the place. If students want to make surf, this is the right place. We can eat, we can drink, we can walk, we have fresh area, and this is the very wonderful reason. But believe me, we can find wonderful reasons in all France. France is very, very beautiful country, and from the quality of life, as said our student, he was in Lille, he was in Toulouse, and if I well understand, he's going to Nice. This is the 4 different parts of France, and they are as beautiful as Bordeaux. So there is no risk to come to France. You will give some additive value to your scientific education and to your life education and to the quality. I think that you will have before the thesis and after the thesis. And between, I think you will share a very good experience. And I'm sure that Patil can confirm this.
Definitely, I agree. It was a really great experience here. For my master's and PhD continuing is again a great experience.
That's it.
Yeah. You want to add something, Professor Mazvi?
No, thank you.
Okay.
So I can also say that I'm really available to answer to any direct question. You can offer my email address to all the students. I will be happy to help, and I can give contact with people because I am involved with Oak SPI, and so I know quite the system, and I can make the connection if needs.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Very good.
So as we sign off, please remember, if you have any comment, queries, do not forget to leave them in the comment section below. And we will get back to you as soon as possible, and keep us following for more such webinars. Thank you once again. Good evening.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.